Hello again, Howard Baxton here. Um, One of the videos prior to this, we talked about um, facial expressions, and we actually put a toggle switch up to toggle facial expressions. I wanted to kind of show you, I've got two avatars here. I've got this nPose tester, and then I've got my avatar, my main avatar, Howard Baxton, over here. You can see that the nPose tester wearing just a system head or a system body. You can see his facials, and Howard Baxton sitting over there with no facials. How did we do that? We did that in our default card. Um, Sitter number 3, which is where nPose tester is sitting. He's running an express tongue out, and Howard Baxton is running the express open mouth, but you don't see that. What happens if we actually change seats? Let's go to change seats and swap. Now you still see nPose tester is running that open mouth, and Howard Baxton with his bento head is running nothing. So that's kind of how this is going to work. Next, we need to try and figure out how to get some bentos to run. So let's actually do that. Let's take and run this jaw drop. So let me copy this name. When we do that, we want to rename it. Copy that name and put it in the default card for seat 1. We're running meditation. Let's just add a comma and paste. Oops, I don't think that's going to work. Paste there. So we've got the comma and then the jaw drop open. So when we save this, we should see Howard Baxton actually doing a bento facial. Well, that's pretty cool. What if we add another one in there? How about, where's what I'm looking for? Eyes. Let's do the rename, copy, and go over here and do comma and paste. Oops, that didn't work. I was wondering about that. Let's paste it here. Well, that isn't going to work. Paste it here. Now we've got meditation, we've got the jaw drop, and the eyes. Let's see what happens here. There you go. Now we're getting some bentos. So now these are going to run, they should be looping animations when you use them here. Some of the bentos are not looping, but we want them looping for this purpose. And it's pretty cool. We can probably add another one as well. How about the tongue? Let's copy this guy and put another comma in there. And paste that there. Now we've got the tongue working. Uh-oh. Couldn't find that one. Maybe I don't have that one in there. It's in there now. things kind of stopped running, so let's do something about that. Can't run the default, so let's just switch over here, let him stand and reset. Get me back over here. We still have, what has happened here? Oh, I see what happened. The comma lot left. That was my bad for when I pasted. Okay, let's see what happens now. Let me do sync. If anybody wasn't aware that in Firestorm, you can do a sync on the server side, the client side, which is the viewer side, by holding the control and hitting the S, and that will resync all of the animations, because all of these are being run on the client side. So we can go into utilities and try and do a sync here, but that's only on the server side, and sometimes that doesn't work as well. And it appears it does at this point, and works. Anyhow, so you can see that we can run some Bento's animations there. There's another way that we can run animations or Bentos. Say you wanted to run an animation that only ran for a short period of time and doesn't continually run, just kind of like a one-shot thing and go. We have another way to do that. Within this facial layering plugin, we've been utilizing the facial side of that. There's another function within which is called layering. We can actually turn another animation on for a specific amount of time and then turn it back off. So let's explore that a little bit here. Actually, before I do that, let's take a look at what happens if we swap these guys. You see that Howard's bento head is just having fun with 3 or 4 different animations at once. Let's swap these guys, see what happens. He doesn't have the bento head, so nothing happens here. We didn't do anything for bento in seat 3, so you don't see anything there. nPose tester does not have bento head, so nothing is happening there. We don't see it. So let's talk about layering animations right now. First thing we need to do, well, we could get away without doing this, but it's going to just make things a lot easier in the end. So let me introduce you to another interesting command we can use. It's a plugin command. And we can give it a name, and we can give it a link message number that we want to use. And in this case, for layering animations, it's been -218 for a link message number forever. We're going to use this plugin command and give this a name and a link message number. So in the end, what would happen is, without this plugin command, we would have to write a line such as this and go -218 and then give it an animation name, and then an avatar key. And we can get the menu user's key with a %, and another percent. So if we put AV key within a percent, we saw this earlier, what it does, or I talked about it a little earlier, maybe I just mentioned it. It would grab the menu user's key and stick it in place of this. So this link message would send an animation name and the animation key of the avatar to be animated. So basically what we can do instead is we can take this overlay keyword now, copy that, and paste it in place of this. And then we would see, when nPose sees that, it would actually replace it with the -218 and the link message and all of that, and do all of that backward stuff for you. And 6 months down the road, when you come and look at this thing, you see overlay and you kind of know exactly what this line is going to be doing. So we'll add that in our .init card and set that up, and boom, we'll probably do some acrobatics here because I'm saving the init card, and then we'll go back into our positions. Let's change seats here and change seats and swap these guys back so we can see what's going on. What I think we ought to do is we're going to do a little nod. And that's going to take advantage of this animation. So let's put that here. And our set nod says overlay. And we're going to send a key next. And I've written it this way specifically because anybody can touch this button, and we want that to affect the avatar in seat 1. So one.key grabs the key from the avatar in seat 1 rather than the menu toucher key. And then we have a little bit different syntax that I told you about earlier. We've got the / and then the command is start followed by a comma and then the name of the animation we want to run. Now let's just make sure, yes, I've got the sat not sat in here. The next line is going to be a timer, and I've named it time T6, I'm not sure why. It's going to run for 1 second. And then again, we're going to do the overlay command. We're going to grab the key for sitter in seat 1, and the command this time is to stop. And we will stop this command. Okay, so let's just add that in here. And let's touch this thing and get a fresh menu to be sure. Now we've got the nod button in there. If we nod, we should see that animesh, that bento head do a nod for us. And it'll do 1 nod and then probably stop. There he is, and he just nodded. That's an on command type thing. So that only happens once and he stops. So there's 2 ways we can run bento animations. And in this case, if we let the nod run, if we added it in to the line, oops, that's not what I want. That's what I want. Let's go down here and see the nod. Let's grab this animation, which is a bento, and add it into here in seat 2. And now let me go to utilities, and I'll just change seats, and I'll go to seat 2. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, that'll work. Let's go to C2, and then I can swap with Howard, and he goes in there. That last animation kind of held on for a moment and finished. But now you see the Howard avatar with the Bento head continues to nod on and on and on. And this is interesting. I didn't expect that to happen. It seems system heads can also nod. That's cool. Yeah, that was not expected at all. Let me see if that happens again. I'm impressed. Okay, so this animation is more of a body animation rather than a bento animation. So it's probably happening in the upper neck and head or something like that. Very cool. Good to know. Okay, to close this out, you saw in the nod, we stopped this animation. And when we do this overlay thing, this is kind of like an explicit prop. In other words, it will stay running or stay resed until it's explicitly told to stop. So anytime we start an animation, we absolutely have to stop it and actually clear it out of the program and get it out of the memory. Otherwise, it's going to give us some issues on down the road. So as we saw in the default, we actually started it here. I got to do something different here. If we don't stop it, that thing is going to give us some issues. And that's kind of why these will stop automatically when they're in the exam line. nPose starts these guys and then it stops them when it sees another animation line or exam line for that same seat. So we don't have to worry about the housekeeping there, but we absolutely do here. We chose to let this run once and then stop, and we could stay in the pose that we're in for as long as we want. There is another way we can do this, and let's see. Let's write this line here. Unsit 1. Let's just do the overlay and stop it right here. Let's comment out this line. Always use the pound sign or an empty line. Pound sign if you got something that you want to be a comment. So the pound sign here is going to comment that out. As soon as nPose sees that right up front, it's going to call this a comment and ignore it for particular operation. So what we're going to do here is when the avatar unsits or changes poses, and I can't do that here. It sees another exam line for seat 1. It's going to run this, but since I don't have an exam line in here, it's not going to run it. So let me do one more thing here. Let's go grab that whole line. Let's copy it. Let's put it in here. And then let's get rid of all of these other animations. Delete those out of there. So we've just got a meditation that's going to run. So as soon as somebody goes into seat 2, it's going to run that meditation. Then it's going to run the overlay. And then when they either change seats, change poses, stand up, unsit's going to fire for seat 1, and it's going to kill that line. What if we do this in seat 2, 2, 2, and 2? Now we've totally changed the function of this. It's going to work on seat 2, not seat 1. So let's save this. And change seats. We'll put this nPose tester in seat 2. And you see he is nodding his head continually, and he will do so until such time as we swap seats, and then it stops until we change poses. What else have I got? Let's go to the male seat, and we'll say listen forward. And you see he's not doing the nod anymore. That one nod you saw is part of the listen forward animation. I think this is enough time for this video, so hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next video. Bye now.